Um, yeah, so as Chris was saying, doing it timely is good, and so the plan is that we'll break out into the breakout rooms at 13:15, and then we'll do 40 minutes, and then the breakout rooms will be done by 13:55, and then we'll have 5 minutes before 1400 to post consensus in the Zoom chat, and so if anybody has any meetings at 1400, then uh, you shouldn't have any issues making it. And welcome, Recep. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Welcome everybody to Eden Fractal 2. We had like a pretty lively conversation, but once we started recording, it seems like everybody got more like quiet now.
I had a question. Last week, Felix suggested we go with proposals for this one. Is this confirmed? And has everybody read the proposals that were posted in the Discord in the initiative channel? I know there was one posted as an article on Hive, and one was posted as a longer message by Andrew. Are we voting on these today, or are we running like last week, basically where everybody has their own contributions?
um, Felix, you want to speak to that first, or?
Yeah, I guess I can get my input real quick. So yeah, um, we had Andrew and Jorge post like I guess more formal proposals. I was thinking since those are the only two, I mean we can talk about them in the meetings and then you know vote vote on those and contributions, and then if there's any proposals that are pretty strong, then that can be talked about like afterwards. And I have my own idea of like what I'm kind of wanting to propose, but yeah, I'll bring them up in like the meeting room, and then also afterwards, just kind of getting feedback on everyone. Mainly the proposals is like where are we wanting to go so that we can start to have a mission statement, I guess, that we're holding these contributions. Like this is what's most valuable towards this Eden fractal.
Yeah, my question was also like, is the mottos that you envisioned for this that we, before the meetings, post them in the chat so everybody is aware of them? So, for example, if you would have posted a proposal, but you're not in my breakout room, we could still talk about your proposal because we all read it and then decide that we want to move forward with that. That's kind of the idea behind it. Or can I only vote on your proposal if you're in my breakout room?
No, yeah, I think posting it beforehand lets other people see it, and then if you like those ideas, then I would bring them up in the meeting. But I think kind of what Dan was saying too last week is we probably shouldn't stray away from voting on like overall contributions, but I think like I guess my proposal was that if you come with a well like a strong proposal, then and you put in time in that proposal, that should be considered a contribution because you're really thinking about like how can we really organize us and push us forward. Yeah, I mean, does that?
Yeah, I got it. I got it. Cool. Thanks.
Cool. Sounds good. Yeah, I agree. I think that Jorge and Andrew and Felix all have some interesting proposals that would be interesting and probably very helpful to discuss in the post meeting. And then, of course, feel free to bring those up in the breakout rooms too, and then we can take that into account while ranking contributions, because those are certainly helpful contributions to share proposals like those. Um, we'll break out into the breakout rooms in 8 minutes. I have a presentation from last week that I can share. I think probably everybody's seen it, so I don't have to share it, but I can go through it in a few minutes if you'd like. That just kind of provides a high level overview of just what we're doing here and stuff like that. Or we can skip it too if you guys prefer, as you guys have already seen much of it already. Does anybody have any preference?
it just taking us like through the same process?
Yeah, it just talking about it talks about like the itinerary and then how I think the general goals can be. Maybe I'll just share the screen really quickly just to show you, and I'll just go through each slide in like 20 seconds or something like that, or like a minute. I mean, unless anybody has a better idea, I don't have to, but I'll just do it, I guess, because everybody seems alright with it, and I feel like it's probably helpful.
Yeah, and you know, this could be a good time to maybe in the future, if someone has like a well written, or like they want to bring a proposal or talk about it, maybe we can have like sign up slots where like the first 15 minutes is discussed, so that these conversations are taken into the breakout rooms and kind of voted on as well.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Yeah, and I think in the future too, we also have room to start it earlier too, so we have more time to speak. Like the Genesis Ƒractal group has been doing it 45 minutes in advance. We're kind of just squeezing everything in 15 minutes, so we could also have time to discuss the proposals beforehand as well. So can you guys see the presentation? You guys can see it, right? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, anybody feel free to jump in at any point, and I'll just go through it like super quickly because we have 6 minutes left, and if anyone wants to just talk about whatever, that's cool too. But so welcome to the Eden Fractal. So we'll break down into the great breakout rooms in 6 minutes, and then we'll be meeting for 40 minutes, not 45 minutes like the Genesis Fractal, but we're doing it 5 minutes less so we can have time for everybody's schedule with the way that we're posting consensus in the Zoom chat, and then we'll have probably an hour of open discussion or maybe more. Thank you everybody so much for being here. Eden Fractal, empowering Eden contributors with EOS, NFTs, and Eden Respect, and this is the third event. We're recording the community room, and it'll be shared on social media for both consensus purposes and just sharing it, and we're not recording your breakout rooms, so I would encourage everybody to record breakout rooms so you have it, but you don't have to. But just want to let you know we're recording here in the community room, and I'll also be recording in my room, and others probably will be as well in their rooms. Everybody enjoy. I think the general goals, this is up to the community, of course, but I think it should be is basically to help Eden, help EOS, and have fun. And so that's the itinerary. We'll meet in the breakout rooms, and then I think the best way to do it is for 3 to 5 minutes each person shares what they're doing to help Eden on EOS, which can include the proposals or any other kind of contributions. And I think it's best to focus on contributions. Sometimes people talk about like different things, but focusing mostly just on what you're doing to contribute, I think is probably the best way to do it. But of course, this is it's up to everybody how we want to do it. And then 40 minutes to rank contributions to eat on EOS and form consensus. In order to get the EOS and the Eden Respect, your group needs to reach 66% consensus and post the consensus in the rankings in the Zoom chat. So you can post it with the top one being rank 6 and the bottom one being rank 1, or I suppose level 6 and level 1 and so forth. And just post the EOS account name of everybody in the Zoom chat. Soon we'll have it built on EOS, I think, but right now we're just doing the Zoom chat mechanism. Rank 6 is most helpful, and thanks everybody so much for being here. Everyone is helping greatly just by being here and participating, and thank you. Just to clarify, you need to reach consensus to earn that, and there's 100 EOS per week that's being sponsored by Eden Creators and Nova Crypto, and that's from Pomelo and Eden on EOS. So there's that. There's also, I think Chuck is giving out NFTs. We can ask Chuck about that. He gave out NFTs during the first week, and that was awesome. And so we can ask about that. We gave out the week 1 and week 2 earnings this week. People probably saw. So that's basically the entirety of the presentation, questions and thoughts and so forth. So, and in the future, everybody can let me know if that's helpful too, or if that should be changed or anything like that. I just felt like it might be helpful to have some sort of presentation, especially for new people. There's not many new people here right now, but that's just something that I noticed Joshua had it, so it seemed like it might be helpful to have some presentation, and we can work together as a group to improve it, or if other people would like to present it in the future or share some other idea, then that would be cool too as well.
Really helpful visual rundown, Dan. Thank you.
Cool. You're welcome, and thank you, Chuck.
Sorry, I Yeah, I bricked my laptop, as I said last week, temporarily while I was trying to get on here, and I didn't distribute NFTs. And just because of the the hassle of doing it, I was just gonna consolidate that action into one action today when I distribute. So I'll distribute two NFTs, whatever. So the list from last week and this week, they'll be distributed today.
Okay, cool. Sounds great. Thanks, Chuck.
I don't do things in an automated fashion. I do them in a blunt force and ignorant fashion.
That's all we have as humans without the technical blockchain infrastructure built up yet, I guess.
Yeah.
So we have about 2 minutes left before breakout rooms. Would anybody like to, I don't know, share any other thoughts or questions or comments before then?
Hey guys, it's really early here. Good to see you again.
Good to see you, Jorge, and thanks for joining and waking up early to hang out with us. Appreciate it very much, and appreciate your post too, your recent blog post too.
Right, great.
I know we got 2 minutes, but I guess a quick question to Chuck, because I think it would be interesting. Are you making the NFTs like on Atomic Hub? And like, I guess it'd be interesting. I'm kind of interested too, in maybe, distributing NFTs. And if we have different members who are wanting to distribute NFTs weekly also, I mean, that's something, that would be cool. It could be relevant to just maybe the breakout rooms, or it could be all of it, depending on how you want to distribute the NFTs. But that's a cool metric that we can add, more NFTs on the column that are getting distributed weekly, dependent on who wants to distribute NFTs.
Yeah, I am just building them on Atomic. I was thinking, like, I like on-chain actions, right? And one of the really cool ones, especially when you're introducing this whole system to newbies, is the Atomic Hub gift claim link. When you give somebody a link that gives them the ability to claim an object, and like they're making an action, and it also is a good thing for an event like this. If we have claim links that we can give to people that they have to actually click and sign, say even we could have them expiring even, so that like in a certain time period you have to find that link during this event, you have to click on it, you have to sign it, and then you get the item. It just means that you're participating in this event in real time, and it's an on-chain proof of that fact, right? So that was the idea behind giving the gift links, and whatever. It's a whole bunch of work, but it's easy to automate it, and I think that's the ideal thing, is that if we can give somebody a PM while they're in here, and it's just a claim link, that would be ideal. But yeah, right now it's all just manual Felix, but there's so many possibilities with it. It's fun.
Cool. That sounds great.
Yeah, I'll probably get it with you a little bit later in the week to see.
Sounds great. Sure. If everybody's ready, I'll start the breakout rooms now. We're a minute behind, so we'll end it at 13:56. Cool. And I'm opening all rooms now.
Recording in progress.
I'm the man.
Oh.
Hey, everyone.
Hey. You can
I
go
am
again,
recording my
Dan.
breakout room. Nice.
What's that?
I am recording my breakout room, and you're also recording your breakout room.
Cool.
And Felix is also recording his breakout room.
Yes.
So that's nice.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a good randomization.
Yeah. Well, it's a little bit strange, actually, because the host gets to pick which room they want to join, and so everybody gets randomized. But then I have a choice, and I didn't know who to join. There's 3 groups of 5, so I was just like, okay, I'll pick the middle one. But maybe we'll have to, I don't know, figure that out in the future to make it more random or something. Maybe I'll like
You pick well. You
roll,
pick well.
roll dice or something. Yeah. Okay, cool. So should we get started and share contributions and so forth? And good to see you, by the way, Jay.
Good to see you guys.
Anyone want to volunteer to go first, and then just pass it on that way?
Sure. I'm happy to volunteer. If anybody else wants to volunteer, then that's cool.
I can go.
Cool.
If you want. Okay, what I made, nothing. So what I made, so last week, just after the official Eden Fractal meeting, I was trying to do a video of all this Eden Fractal, first officially, also with the breakout room number 3, where I was with Felix, with I don't remember now with who I am, but I have made this video that took me time, and I have posted that into the Twitter and also into the Eden Fractal Discord, trying to do some promotion for this Eden Fractal. So that was that. And since then, what I have made, I have recorded a nice interview with Maurice Vanegas that will be published tomorrow at 15:30 UTC, speaking about Pomelo Season 2, Season 3. They have more public goods. That will be nice. You will see the video tomorrow or maybe later on. I have the special LATAM MindWeb mind map. As always, I do a mind map with all my workshops video, so there he is updated. I have followed also the Eden on EOS Chief Delegate Board members. I have updated the Eden dashboard, MindWeb Eden dashboard, basically with the videos, with the meetings that they have made until now, and also integrating the meeting minutes from Chris Barnes in. And for the Eden recaps from Lenny, I was figuring out how I could maybe integrate that into my mind map, but I have no idea how I will do for now, so I was doing nothing. It's better to do nothing. Sorry, I am little disturbed now. Sometimes he's asking me something. Oh, sorry. So I was trying to figure out how I could integrate that into the MindWeb mind map for Eden dashboard, but I prefer to say, okay, I wait a little bit until I know how I will integrate, maybe to make that very synthetic as always. And yeah, I was reading also about Trust EVM network paper to understand, and I tried to do some tests with the faucet to have some EVM token on the jungle. It is on the jungle at the moment. So I was trying to play with that, and yeah, trying to do good tweets on Twitter also to encourage the people to think about more EOS as a microtransaction layer. So as always, trying to follow and promote very well. So that was my week until now. We are only Wednesday. So next one, on my left, on my right. Okay. Felix.
Okay, cool. All right. Okay, so yeah, this last week, it's been a busy week for me. But on this last Sunday, so I've been thinking about like the proposal of like what direction do we want to go with the Eden Fractal, and so we didn't get much feedback in the proposal channel. We got two like Jorge and Andrew, and then I don't think I'm missing anybody else. Yeah, that posted in there, and then so I guess I'm kind of just trying to get like a gauge of where everyone would like this to go. In our so on Sunday we had our Eden Town Hall show, and Dan and I we had a great discussion. Lenny was there, and we had the ENF show up, and Chuck was there, and we were talking a lot about, like, at least I'm interested in trying to get more funding for the Eden Fractal. I think that would be beneficial. Some things that came out of that was, you know, if we can, with our developers that we have in this Eden Fractal, if we can kind of rally around them and see if we can get them to build like a simple process of what we're doing here to automate it, like the manual part that we're doing. That could be something that would be considered a quick win. That I think anything that we're doing that we can go and basically promote to the ENF, other delegates, chief delegates, can help us achieve more funding and weekly funding as far as EOS, and then that's going to help attract more people, and then also it's going to allow us to really start to compensate the people who are really putting forth, you know, good contributions and spending time towards this Eden Fractal. So you know, until I have like a solid proposal in mind, I won't be able to, like, I'm not gonna have anything like written out, but once I have more of a vision, but right now it's like kind of gauging and seeing where everyone is wanting to go. But yeah, I would say my contributions though has been to really advocating for, like, hey, you know, it doesn't hurt delegates, chief delegates, let's throw some money in here, and see how that incentivizes people to come in and contribute, and so I've also been working on the Discord group, and just keep moving along. I added so we have like a videos channel on the Discord for all the chief delegate meetings, the Eden Town Hall show that Dan and I are doing, and then I added the Eden Fractal meetings for anyone who wants to post the recordings of their breakout rooms or the entire thing. So that gives everyone a chance to, the way I'm thinking is kind of throw their own spin. If you guys want to edit some things, maybe shorter clips of like highlights of the thing, you know, that's what that channel is there for. But yeah, and then Dan and I were on a call yesterday, late last night. He was kind of taking me through the key permissions of like how he's setting that up with the Eden Fractal, which that's pretty cool. I would like to make content surrounding educational stuff around that too. You know, that's a powerful feature with EOS, is the key permissions. So yeah, that's been my contributions for this past week, and kind of where I'm at with bringing forth proposal. So yeah, and so Jay, you're next on my screen, so I'll nominate you next.
Great. Good to see everybody. It's interesting. How do you divide up your contributions into the categories for the Eden Fractal? I participated on this past Saturday with the Eden Creators group about the design of NFTs as a mechanism to add value to the Eden Fractal, and then Dan Singdra was there, and we talked for a little bit about, do we need a rebrand of Eden? And then my observation is that we've already invested so much in Eden to this point, and I actually love the wording of Eden Fractal. I think it communicates a lot. I think it's kind of a fantastic part of the Eden community, because it adds value, but also the name itself represents kind of the progression of how we're trying to move forward in a way that creates not just the Eden as the startup, but the fractal as the whole descriptive word that describes the community of people and processes and computer systems that we're trying to network together. And so that took up some time. And then I've also been working on what type of minimum viable product can I contribute to the community, because I want to be part of the taking action steps. And so I have spent a few hours trying to build in just the essentials of a directory and a sign up and a kind of an overarching site that can be not necessarily a wiki, but a community announcement board and place where you can share what NFT tokens you have, something that can be used by community members as a kind of an advertisement board. We could create leaderboards to display. We could have discussions that try and reach out to the public-facing application and website that identifies everybody who's in the network, and have a place to have discussion and post links to articles, and then stimulate one more touchstone that's public-facing, so that people can see who we are, what we're doing, and then also how we as one tokenized community fit into all the have it broad enough in scope where other blockchains could also have similar postings, so that we can kind of use that as a mechanism to broadcast ourselves to the world in a way that shows that we're becoming a leader in the Web3 community, especially with the chain access that we have, who we are, who's in it, and to start casting our vision of where we're going in the practice. And then as we develop practical helps and tools, that we have a toehold on the Web3 community. So hopefully I'll have you say it's going to be 1 week, and that probably means 3 weeks to get it a minimum viable product. But I want to have, and part of it is related to the brand. What what does this mean if we're, we all in this, everyone in this group sees us as a group that's aware that, Dan Larimer's building a new chain, and so it's not necessarily in competition with the EOS network. It can be the evolution, and my whole working theory is that we're better together. And so I see the Eden Fractal as potentially a key centerpiece that we can create a nucleus where other chains are revolving around us, not the other way around. And that's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Jason.
So let's see, who's next? Dwayne.
Great. Thanks. Good morning, everybody. For Eden on EOS this week, I invited a few more people. I think it's up to 12. I have a lot of people right now. They're envious. They're in New York at NFT New York. So I haven't had too many new participants. I was, look at my list here. So I was really thinking of other, well, I guess the second thing I'll just say is that also let everyone know that there's going to be an election coming up, right? So July 9th. So to make sure the people that I have already invited to Eden, are aware of that. Was thinking of what value I can bring, and from the beginning, I just know, especially at this time, how important governance is. If we look at all these centralized exchanges and DeFi platforms, what's the solution to these big problems? And it's exactly what we've gone through, right? A proper governance layer. So I think it's the most important thing in crypto right now. And I've been really active in Wax and Alien Worlds, and I thought maybe a tool would be to bridge over sort of the NFT and use Eden, and maybe have Eden as a service for other communities and kind of that bridge. So I reached out to my community and decided to start a different way to gauge interest, and started a Alien Worlds Fractal, and see how that works, and just changing some of the language and gamification more around NFTs. So I know there's a bit of a struggle around, say, this ranking and levels, and instead we're just going to keep with the NFT rarity model and give people a legendary status or mythical epic rare. There's some fun things right now that we're able to do with NFTs. So you can also back NFTs with tokens. So thinking of kind of keeping with the Fibonacci spiral of actually backing some of these tokens and giving out Trillium and Crown right in those. Trying to bring that bridge back to Eden, where we made a form to give information if they are an Eden member, sort of like Pomelo does. They give you a little golden ring around your profile to show that you are really verified. So just to try and bridge these communities. I think the leaderboards and also gamifying it a bit to bring in some new people that are not familiar with this process of giving out some pretty random awards just for people showing up. So some big prizes that will just kind of put people in a randomizer, and at the end of the meeting give out some awards. I've been thinking also about Eden's role. I've seen the proposals and seeing that one thing that might be coming for EOS is, I know that EOS.io as a whole is getting rebranded, and there's been sort of a talk of maybe EOS rebranding, and then what role Eden plays into that as well. So just giving all that some thought. What else? My week's been pretty busy. I've been I stepped into a new group for Eden Translation Foundation. So seeing how I can take the videos that I participate with and scraping I'm sure some of you already know this, but it's new to me, of scraping the actual audio files, putting that to text, cleaning it up in English, and then putting those into different languages. So yeah, that's about it. Keeping up to date with all the new news and just kind of doing as much as possible. Really, I like to talk, Felix, about NFTs and how we can put other NFTs and reward people with other communities for this group. And I guess just one last thing to kind of plug. One of the rewards of NFTs is there's a silver-backed NFT on Wax. So I just kind of thought that's kind of neat, because giving out awards, I've seen some DAOs, if we keep giving out funds, the value of the tokens kind of decrease and you're not getting as much worth out of it. So do you dynamically change your awards? I just kind of thought that, this silver-backed one is, silver, the price of silver can change, but kind of gives a little bit more of a peg for an award. So we're giving out some of those as well. So yeah, just trying to wrap my head around bringing more people in. And I thought to start with, starting this Alien Worlds group can kind of bridge that over, and then we can bring respect to the other groups and kind of, hopefully everyone wins. So great. I think that's it. I'll pass it over to Lenny.
All right. My first meeting here, but I got the hang of it roughly. Well, we know each other. I believe all of us, and similar, and I've always been complaining I don't have any time. Can't claim that anymore now, so it's time to kind of show a little bit effort. But so far I'm just getting into the groove, a lot of other things to catch up, but I put a little bit here what I feel is relevant based on ƒractal, how we did there. So main thing what I do, of course, and have done also this time, is the recaps that was posted on Monday this time, and that was a massive one, because you have to be neutral and you have to try to reflect what was said and what was agreed and whatever, without taking sides or leaning in either direction. But that was a good exercise. A bit of chasing to get some of the authority to give with names in the discussion, the two main ones. But anyway, that worked out okay. So besides that, Eden Town Hall, like Felix mentioned, I was over there too. And I'm basically getting into the groove a little bit here. I haven't even had a chance to look at the last chief delegates meeting, YouTube and similar, or Odyssey rather. And so I'm still catching up, getting into things. Eden-wise, I would say I use about 25% of my awake time on that one. From morning to night, beside breakfast and a bit of casual time, I'm more blockchain. And probably at least 60-70% of that is actually US.io, different ways. But also big part is that I'm pushing locally here. I'm a member of a political party where I'm also part of a board member since January. And I've been on them for about a year, slowly getting them interested in decentralized leaderships and internal elections to kind of be a foreground figure in those things in Sweden. They ranked third, fourth outside the parliament last election. We have a 4% barrier for entry and similar. But that's work in progress, nothing productive to see, except maybe checking up if I'm really in a party or not or whatever. But just to give you a little bit of clue, it's not very tangible and whatever. And my main task now is also to develop this recaps thing in a more expanded manner, because I had a Pomelo pitch, which I got funded. Now it's time for me to actually earn it also. So that's about it. And it's in the chat as well. I posted it. And nothing else really to say that I can think of right now. And I'll pass it to, it's only Dan left, isn't it? I'll pass it to you, Dan.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Lenny. And thank you, everybody, so much for the contributions and amazing help and everything and being here. Awesome to hear, and I'm looking forward to speaking with everybody more. I'll share some slides and stuff. So I've been working a little bit on the Eden ƒractal website, which I think you guys have probably all seen before, and then I'll just share some other stuff that you guys have probably seen too quickly, because there's many different slides I'm just touching upon. So last week I put out the tweet for the first Eden ƒractal earnings, and that had like some pretty good engagement, 3,000 impressions and a bunch of engagements and stuff like that. And so yesterday I put out the other one. I was thinking for a while what the best way to do it is, and I feel like this is a good like promotional way to just simply just share how much people are earning and people are attending and stuff like that. So I'm interested to hear what people think about that. But yeah, I shared that, and so far that has some pretty good engagement too so far. So I think people are learning better from there, and several more people followed the Eden ƒractal group. I also worked quite a while on just trying to just perfect like the imagery and make it look right with the right like colors and stuff. And so I was working on that for a while, and then I shared it in a bunch of different Telegram groups and Discord groups to help get the word out and just try to format it all correctly. I also, last week, I got the Zoom plan because Joshua wasn't interested in doing it, and I figured somebody had to do it, and then I just made that presentation I shared before. That was kind of last week as well, not all this week, but just figured I'd show it. I also posted the Eden ƒractal meeting too, and I created a new YouTube account for Eden creators just to post a lot of these videos. So I posted that, and I did another one. I tested with both recording the text on the side, the chat, and without that, and so just tried different video techniques. And I also realized in Zoom you can do different angles, so hopefully we can make like really great cinematic kind of videos with these different things. I retweeted Patrick's tweet here. Patrick made a great tweet, and I listened to his breakout room as well as Ami, so I listened to everybody's breakout room from last week. And then retweeted some of the stuff was from last week, but just basically anybody who's posting really helpful stuff, just trying to post it and to help spread the word. Felix made a great tweet as well, and then I also participated and co-hosted the town hall with Felix this week as well. Retweeted Felix's tweet there, and then I posted the video, which is very small, and that was very interesting. As Felix was saying, there was Eva Rose was there for a while, and Michael from Bywire, and Chuck, so some chief delegates, and then just a bunch of great community members overall. So that was really good. For whatever reason, all these screenshots aren't loading, but yeah, quite a bit of time over the past couple of days just trying to get the MSig set up. So right now it's on my account, but I want to decentralize it as soon as possible. So I was just figuring like the simplest and most elegant way to do that. If anybody has any thoughts or is interested in being in the MSig, then please feel free to reach out. But there's just a lot of just screenshots here of just all the little minute details I would have overlooked, but then once I started to actually do it, I just realized there were all these little things to think about. James suggested things, so there's lots of just technical stuff there. And then also I've been kind of focusing on what I've been doing for help the Eden ƒractal, but also this is I think just to help EOS generally too. So I've just been working pretty much full time in EOS. I hosted the hot sauce and did a bunch of other work with the community. So I talked about the EOS. Well, I just messed up, and now it's gone, and now it's back. Now it's back. Sorry about that. Yes, I hosted the hot sauce. I talked about the Eden ƒractal a little bit there, as well as the EOS birthday and a bunch of other topics like EO Plus and stuff like that. And then I also talked about Eden China, and then I also retweeted the Eden ƒractal Everything EOS Weekly Report and helped write quite a bit. And then I also participated a little bit in the giveaway show hosted by Charles Bishop. And Patrick was there too, talking a little bit about EOS and Eden ƒractal, and then also on the Helios Twitter Spaces I participated. bit and spoke about EOS and Eden Ƒractal a bit too. And then also Jorge Sapiens asked me if I could help him with making videos like this, how I'm doing it. Oh, sorry, I haven't even looked. I'm not sure if I've been in front of the screen, but I've been trying to point here. And so I made a little process about how I can, or how I present the video like this. So I'm planning to make like a video tutorial, and I started scoping it out. So I'll share that soon. And then I also started just put together a brief blog post. Dario asked if there's like an overview of Eden Ƒractal contributions, and so I started just put together different stuff. It's really very much a draft, but I think it's helpful to do in the future. I just kind of worked on that for like a half hour, but I'll work on it more. And then I just retweeted like some posts from Eves and stuff like that, and Dan. So that's it. Sorry if that was a bit long. And I hope you all enjoyed too, of course, and feel free to ask any questions. And I also have a question for Dwayne too. We also have like 12-13 minutes left, so I suppose we should start reaching consensus soon. But yeah, if anybody has if anyone would like to lead it here, that's cool, or I can ask a quick question to Dwayne at some point as well.
I think do your question, Dan. We're all quiet.
Okay, sounds good, Lenny. Yeah, the question that I wanted to ask, and I feel like we could probably talk about it in much more detail later, because we have to reach consensus soon. It's probably best to just focus on reaching consensus first and then talk about other stuff more generally. But the question can also be helpful just to determine the consensus about the contribution rankings and so forth. So I was wondering, I hadn't heard about the Alien Worlds Fractal, and so I was just wondering how far in development that is. Like, have you met with people and started doing it yet? And then I also just want to let you know that Chuck has very similar ideas with the Eden NFT group. Also, Jay, I think you called that the Eden Creators Group or something like that. It's not really the Eden Creators Group. It's more just like the Eden NFT Group, I think is the name. But basically, Chuck is thinking the same thing for this group, where rather than just giving out EOS, we can give out EOS-backed NFTs that are like programmatically or algorithmically created according to the Fibonacci ratio. So yeah, it's just something that I figured might be helpful to share, and I'm curious to learn more about at some point.
Yeah, perfect. Just quick answer. I'm piggybacking on the meeting, our Crown meeting. We've had about 12 to 18 participants every Thursday at 10 a.m. CST. So the whole group allowed me, since I've hosted it this long, we talk about metaverses and alien worlds already. I'm piggybacking at that same time because we already have people that bought into that habit. So it's going to start this Thursday. Just kind of the rough, it's the first one. So we'll see how I get through all the dynamics. For the first one, we're not ready with all the NFTs yet. So instead, we're just going to award a lot of tokens and promise that by the next week, we'll have some of these backed NFTs. I'm using the LD2 coin guys that have a backing service. So hopefully that'll make it a little bit easier, but I'm definitely interested in the algorithmic and making this a lot easier for everybody. And then being able to cross-pollinate NFTs between communities.
Awesome. Thanks so much. That sounds incredible. And I'll follow up with you at some point. If that's open for public to join, then I think I'd be interested to join it if I'm able to.
You betcha. I just posted a link in our chat as well.
Okay, cool. Thank you. We have 10 minutes remaining. And by the way,
to get us,
go
ahead.
I just want to ask real quick, Jay, just because I'm just learning the Zoom. I just hit the broadcast message to all 10 minutes remaining. Do you guys see that? I just want to make sure I went through. Okay, cool. Okay, thanks. And sorry, Jay.
So to get us rolling, I would nominate Dan Singjoy and request unanimous consent. And then if we all raise our hands to get started with Dan as number 6, that he actually select who he thinks would be number 5, just to try and get us moving fast. So if you vote for Dan, I would say raise your hand for number 6.
You have put some biased influence here.
What's
yeah,
that?
I'm suggesting we use influence just because there's such short time. So
normally we should
countdown.
put who is 6 in the chat, then 5, then 4, then 3, then 2, and okay. 3, 2, 1, 0, who is the 6, and then moving on.
Okay, go for it, Patrick. Use that.
That's the process that we use now since a couple of weeks.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so at the count of 3, 2, 1, then we'll.
But I am
list.
okay. So 3, 2, 1, 0, the 6.
Go.
Okay, then. Okay, voilà.
Okay. I was, by the way, planning to rank Felix
I
as
am
6.
okay with that. That you are 6.
Okay.
By the way.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Are we doing
just
only
reminding
6 or several?
What's that?
Just reminding to Jay what is the process. Yeah.
Yeah.
3,
Are
2,
we
1, 0,
doing number
and
6 only, or we ranking more than one person?
When we say 3, 2, 1, 0, we want the 6. Then 3, 2, 1, 0, we
Only
want
the
the
6.
5,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
etc., etc.
Good.
Okay. So now the 5. 3, 2, 1, 0.
Wait.
5.
Number 6. Yeah.
We should count that.
Yeah, hey,
chat,
yeah, we need to make sure everyone has it written, and then we'll count down. Because if not,
We will be always biased in all cases.
Well, we can be less biased though, Patrick, if we take our time. When you just do a quick countdown, then people type really quickly, then it's difficult. Like I wasn't ready to type at that point. I was also just gonna. I appreciate everybody's vote too, and I'm happy to accept the 6. I was personally gonna say Felix as 6 because I think that Felix did like really helpful work in the town hall, speaking with he was speaking in front of Eve and Chuck and Michael, and I thought that, I mean, he's done a bunch of great work otherwise, but I think doing that, like especially during the town hall, like you were speaking about helping to fund and stuff like that, and I think that's gonna be hugely helpful. So I just want to say thank you for that, for Felix.
Thank you. Yeah. So now 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. So now the 4. 3, 2, 1, 0.
Well, I'm not ready for 4 yet. I haven't thought about it yet.
Okay. 3, 2.
But wait, no. I mean,
Patrick, we gotta calm down a little bit. Like,
yeah,
you can't just like push. You gotta let everyone kind of talk. I know you want to get this ranking, but gotcha.
Yeah, we've got 7 minutes, so.
Yeah, ça va. It's okay.
So it's not super. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure who should be number 4 now, because I mean Patrick has done a lot of great work, of course.
No,
Dwayne
say nothing.
Starting the फ़ractal. But why not? Why say
just
nothing?
Vote.
Though?
Just vote for the 4. Into the chat. Say nothing.
So
I like the conversation.
One thing. All right.
The countdown was not me.
I know. So Dan brought up his point, right? Everyone voted for him 6. He was wanting to vote for me 6. I don't know if we're wanting to switch that vote. You're kind of pushing us and not allowing us to solidify our votes. So we got to calm down with that. My thing is, I appreciate that, Dan. I'm open to whatever you guys want to do. If we're wanting to switch the vote, I did get ranked a little lower last week, but I mean, we are. So I do appreciate that. That's cool. I mean, also, Dan, you've led a lot of initiatives too, so I have no problem ranking you 6 either. So, yeah, that I'm still unclear. Like before we go to 4, we need to decide what 6 is after we heard what Dan said. So, what are we doing with 6?
For me, Duan deserves 4. So if you want to vote the others for the 4.
Okay. So I'm happy to go either way as far as 5 and 6, and it seems like most of the consensus was me as 6 and Felix as 5. So I'd be happy to do it that way. Or if anybody else wants to change their vote to Felix, then that's cool too. And I did notice that, I mean, Felix has done a lot of great work, and he was ranked, I think, 3 last time, which I think is probably lower than what he should have been. But of course, we're all going to be here for the long term, I think, and we're all going to do great work, so we'll all be rewarded. So I'm happy to do whatever we want on 5 and 6, and then I suppose we do have 5 minutes left, so we should start moving on to number 4 and figure that out.
Yeah, we are voting the 4 now.
Okay, so 6 and 5 are the same. Are we all thumbs up on that?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay.
Who has not voted yet?
I didn't know we were voting.
Dan has not voted. Felix Ruiz has voted. And Dan. Yeah. Okay. For the 4, Duan, it's okay. Now the 3. So
I was going to I know we're really rushed. I really appreciated some of the times when we voted, when we had just a different rule. It's not a usual one, but sometimes when you it just brings out more conversation when we have time when you don't vote for yourself. So just something maybe to consider for our next round, just to experiment with.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So who is the fourth?
should...
Who is the four now? Who's the four?
So Jay, we got looks like we're split 3 and 3, right?
I have voted for Duan also for the 4.
So
The 3, sorry. The 3, it's
we're at a tie with Dwayne and Patrick.
I think Dwayne has 4 now.
I stated Patrick, but in all due honesty, and I'm a very straightforward guy, Patrick is a bit disruptive with pushing it, so I moved Duane up there. Sorry, Patrick, but I'm a straightforward guy. I say what I think.
Sorry about that.
No.
You can put me 1. It's okay.
No.
It's a girl for me. I say honestly, it's a girl. You can put me 1.
No, that's 1 is for Jay.
The way to vote is not ideal in all the cases, for sure. There is no good way to vote.
Well, it's all imperfect. I wouldn't say it's not good. I would say it's very good, and the process of voting is very helpful.
Very good.
Yeah, but it's not perfect, though.
I would not say very good. I would say not ideal. Voilà.
Okay. Not ideal works.
We can play with the words, but it's not ideal at all, for sure.
Well, we're on a learning process, and these fractal things are new, so yeah, we can improve.
But all is improvable.
Yes, exactly. Okay.
And you know what? Collaboration is very important. For me, the vote is not the most important.
Okay. Sounds good. Yep.
Patrick. Seems to be Patrick. Okay. Okay?
Okay.
I let you continue the vote. I say nothing now. I am.
Okay. We have 2 minutes left.
For 2, Jay, I like when it's like, the last 2, whoever, Jay's proposing, Lenny, it's hard for both because I'm fine with Lenny since Jay's kind of pushed,
I'm smiling because of a town hall comments on these things, or was it in Fractally? Me and Jay a couple of times back. But anyway, in Fractally. I'll be quiet now.
You deserve all. You make a good job.
Let's put the J on top. I'll take the bottom part, but be careful. I'm coming around the corner.
Lenny, you deserve with your hidden recap and all your stuff. It's a yeah baby for me, Lenny. And now I am gassing all the guys, because I say Lenny.
Yeah, I don't know who to go because you guys are both saying you'll vote for each other.
And Jay, you have all my respect.
Yeah, I mean, Jay, you've been here every meeting too, so I'll go with Jay and then Lenny. I'll switch it back to Jay. So this, I'm gonna put the order if everyone thinks that's right of what I think we reached.
Do we have a listing what rank we have now so we don't mix up? It was a bit discussion, so we can post it because I presume we're posting it right away in the chat on the other side. Okay.
Yeah, post it in the chat. Is everyone cool? I think that's what we reached an agreement on.
Thank you, Felix, to be the accountant on
that. I should start the ending room, so I'll hit close rooms, and then we'll have 60 seconds left to come to a final conclusion.
It's okay if you not put the EOS account and you put like that?
No, okay. I probably should put the EOS account.
Yeah, we do need the EOS account. So.
We should put the EOS account.
Yeah,
but I don't know the EOS account of Dancing Joy.
Just Dan.
Dan.
Yep, DAN.
Okay, and Felix, what is your EOS account? Okay.
Felix.gm. I'll change my name in there.
Oh, we are 54 seconds. Wow.
Maybe if everyone puts it in the chat, we can just copy and paste.
Yep.
Okay. Bon. See you.
Apologize for my crazy, stupid EOS account.
Oh,
Are you going to get a
Why
simpler one
stupid?
sometime
Why
soon?
stupid?
I need to buy a name.
Another name.
What's your EOS account?
JR2WRJSU. Yeah, it's a nice one. Yeah.
Okay. 6 seconds left. Great meeting, everybody. Thank you very much.
Suggest you
Thank you so much.
JNode. JNode is better.
Recording in progress.
Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
We'll definitely
Here comes Dan. I was missing the guys. Did I leave too early? I was pulled out of there in my room.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure why you dropped out there, Lenny. But you dropped out like 30 seconds or so before we all...
Ah, yeah, it was automatic somehow. Anyway, glitch.
Okay, well, we're back here again, so it's all right, I guess. And we missed you dearly for 30 seconds.
Well, I got the ranking. We all have the levels fixed. I was going to get the US names, but I'll be quiet now. I'll find it in the chat.
Okay. Yeah, if anybody could record the video at this point, that would be helpful and appreciated, where you have both us here and then the rankings in the right side, and then more importantly, if everybody can please type or copy and paste your consensus into the Zoom chat right now, that's very helpful to be able to ascertain the consensus.
I'm hoping for someone to put in from breakout room 2 US names. So shall we just do normal names?
Yeah, I'm also hoping for that too. I have 4 out of 6, but I don't know Patrick's name off the top of my head. I have a good idea, but I don't know exactly what it is.
And I don't know the EOS account of Felix, and I don't know the EOS account of... yeah, we have to put into parentheses our... I will put... It's very rare sometimes to vote. Huh? I think too. Okay. That's Enjoy is just done.
Yeah, that's
your
correct.
account.
Yep.
Felix, I have. Yeah, I got. Duane.
Jay is speaking but muted, I think.
Jay?
We're speaking to himself, maybe.
I think I have it correct.
Check with mine.
I think that we had Jay at number 2 and Lenny at number 1, if I'm correct.
You make a mistake, Dan.
Are you sure?
Mike Lenny is before Jay. Mike Lenny 1 is before Jay.
No, Patrick, that's what was decided.
Ah, you have this, you have changed? Okay, so.
Doesn't matter. We survived both.
That's my rank.
Okay. So have 4 to 6 from every room posted their consensus into the Zoom chat yet?
Hey, Dan, you misspelled my name. It starts with a Q. So Jay's crazy EOS name starts with a Q.
Oh, okay.
Can you change the first letter and then repost it? Sorry about my stupid EOS name, guys.
Sure.
You choose Jay Taylor Node the next time.
I know.
That's better, right?
Yes. Thank you, Dan.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
thank
take
you.
this one. Voilà. the correct. Huh? Okay.
Okay.
We have reached consensus on the name. Nice.
Cool. Sounds good. And then it looks like Martin and Ugel both submitted consensus from one of the rooms. I'm not sure if anybody else did. Has anybody else? Chuck, have you submitted consensus?
Yeah, we were here earlier. We were here very early, the first ones arriving, and then we posted everyone. Maybe you don't see it because you joined the main room later. Chuck and Charles, maybe you can repost.
Yeah,
and Michelle as well.
If everybody can repost, that'd be helpful. Just so it's all on, just so it's all in the recording that I have right now, and for anybody else who's recording right now who wasn't recording then. It'll be nice when we have like an automated system, so we don't have to waste this time just like looking at the Zoom chat. It feels so inefficient. Like we could be having interesting conversations. I'm just like looking away from everybody, just looking at these little letters on the screen, trying to count.
Yeah. We were talking about automated ways to distribute NFTs, right? And we could make it part of this process. Like when a breakout room comes to consensus, they could automatically be generating NFTs that they can all get a claim link to right then and there. You know, we could have a multi-sig ready for each breakout room, and they build their multi-sig as their consensus process, and then they all sign it, and then they're all distributed NFTs based on their rankings right then and there. That would be a nice implementation. That would be clean, and it would save all this bullshit time of sorting everything out afterwards, right?
I think Vladislav just did that, and the voting is going to be on chain. That was his contribution.
Oh, great! Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to see that. Yeah.
Maybe Vladislav, can you elaborate on that?
What was that, Jorge?
Vlad? Yeah, I'm saying that
Sorry.
Vladislav.
I was awake. Could you repeat?
Yeah, Chuck was saying that it would be nice to have this voting system on a smart contract, and I think you just did that this week, right?
Yes, it's coming. I hope we will be able to test it out next week.
Beautiful.
I guess for our developers that are on here, would it help if, because it would be cool to kind of see you guys' conversations. If I created like a group chat just for, Fractal or the Eden Fractal members, like developers, and then, I guess that's kind of like one of my things too, of like, so basically what I talked about with the proposals, right now I'm still kind of gauging everything before like I write out like a milestone proposal. But what I think would be nice is if, the developers, you guys are you guys are in high demand, so like you guys are very valuable to us, and so I think it would be smart for this Eden Fractal to rally around you guys and like let's see what you guys are willing and can do, and whatever we can do to kind of help that, I think would be good for us to kind of start to value those contributions at the higher end, and so like right now what we're talking about, this is what I see as our first step that we should take, is let's make this process a little bit more easier so that when we get out of the breakout rooms, we're not wasting time spending, so we can get right into discussion about next steps or whatever, so we're more efficient with our time. And yeah, that'd be cool, but that's gonna have to be led from the developers, because you guys are the ones that can do that. So I just want to kind of open the discussion to you guys, and if opening up a chat room, and if you guys, that's something you guys would utilize in the Eden Discord channel, I'll do that.
I think one thing that developers always need is the user journey and the design aspect before they start putting pen to paper. And I think that, you know, for us to hash out the ideas and to come to a consensus on how something should look, then it's easier for them to walk in and do it. You know, so it's really important to have these talking sessions, and then we can all we can all talk about things. But as you say, their time is precious, so we have to make it as worthwhile as possible for them to even sit through the brainstorming sessions. But yeah, it's a great process, and I think the whole like the Ƒractal process of helping developers maximize their time. I think it's a good process. We're doing it. I think it's going to work.
And oh, go ahead, Warren.
Do you guys remember there was this other Russian member who created a UI? I was trying to remember the name of the domain in which we had just to choose the names of our team, breakout room mates. I think that could be an already implemented UI for your smart contract lab. Vlad, do you guys know who am I talking about?
Are you talking about Gore?
Yeah.
Yeah, Vlad, are you familiar with Gore's work that he did over at Ƒractal?
I saw a tweet, but I haven't interacted with it. But I think it's easier. We already have like a basic front end, so it's better to continue with what we're doing. But I if somebody could share, I would check it out again.
Yeah, I'll find it and share it. The one feedback from his tool that it was still everyone saw someone's response right away. So the suggestion was to not post everyone's response until everyone entered something. So it was a really good tool. Igor did a really good, when he introduced it, he brought in a lot of dialogue and asked people what they enjoyed about the process and had a lot of talk around it. So it just, when he was in charge, when he was in his room with the tool, I really appreciated that he just didn't push this as the way to come to consensus. He pulled out a lot of dialogue, and this was just the time saving to post it. So I think in combination with a lot of dialogue, it was a good tool. Yeah, there you go. Galaxy.do is, but more so that if it waited till everyone put in their ranking and then would show it to everybody. I was just going to mention too, I just been trying to find a way to bridge the communities I'm very active in with Wax. And I thought at first I put it past Vlad as well to kind of duplicate the Eden NFTs and bring them over to Wax. We need a lot of know your customer, know your person, know your player over there. Instead, I just started with the lowest hanging fruit. We've been running a crown meeting every Thursday at 10 a.m. CST. And so I started just a Ƒractal Alien Worlds group there. So going to be playing with all the same questions we brought up. So Chuck and Felix, but be giving out NFTs backed with tokens. One of the NFTs also backed with a silverback coin, kind of keep the price more back to silver instead of the ups and downs of the crypto market. But anybody building tools, we have worker proposal funds, and I have the time and interest to help this process. So maybe in another meeting on how to use these tools more than one community, and that way we can kind of bring in a little bit more funding and put a little bit more minds on how this works with all the other groups. So I'm really interested in the gamification and how we automate this process. The coming to consensus to build a multi-sig, that would be incredible. That would be just the cat's ass. So yeah, really exciting stuff. I'll post just the link here to this new Ƒractal. It's just started. The NFTs are not going to be ready for this Thursday. We'll just try and get through the first meeting, but I'd like to participate with you all and maybe in another meeting to kind of go over how we can have a win-win-win for all of this.
If I can say, one of the things that we talked about in our room was a different purpose, rather than assigning value to contributions. Another purpose for the Eden method would be to have conversations, and we've been talking about this off and on, in many cases, and I've been sort of railing about it, but having a group of 5 or 6 people identify one person to carry the group's message forward to the next round. I think it's really pertinent when we have moments in time coming up. Like we have an Eden election coming up, right, July 9th, and there's stuff to talk about within the community, and specifically, like, what's the vision for Eden? What do Eden members want this to look like? What are our goals, long term and short term? And a conversation like that, like, for example, I don't want to monopolize or take it over, Dan or Felix, or but I'm just recommending maybe if we try next week, having a conversation, and get a lot of people to come out, and then maybe after the breakout rooms are finished, have the number 6 rank or whatever it is, have everybody to a final table where we have a more focused conversation that reflects all the conversations that came before it, and then we can use these as ammunition towards our election, bring the community together around our main concepts, and just see if everybody's on the same page about the direction that that the bylaws are going to be drafted and released, or the bylaw recommendations are going to be released by next week. And a conversation around that, for example, would tell us whether the membership is on board with what the CDs are recommending or not, that kind of thing. I don't a conversation session wouldn't have to happen every week, but it might be a nice, like maybe every month or something, we have a conversation session, instead of the rewards for work structure, but it's just an idea, right? Just a way. There are many ways to use the fractal democracy process to, you can use it as a tool for many different ends, I think.
Yeah. One, I don't know if you wanted to say something, Dan. But I had I guess a thing real quick. So one of the things that was interesting that we did, not last week, but the week before in the Fractally group, is there was a proposal that was made, and then basically, at least in my room, that was something that we also discussed. Like whoever was ranked was going to represent our group, and then vote on what that proposal was. So I guess I do see benefit of like the number 6. Like after this meeting is we have a recap, and the number 6 now talks about the recap of the group. And then that gives everybody an idea of, okay, like what was valued this week within the group, and then any interesting topics that were brought up. So yeah, kind of looking at each week that the number 6 is, kind of looked at as like the consensus leader, so that we can have a little bit more focused discussion with the 6 of them, and then obviously it's still open to anybody else to jump in, but the 6 can kind of lead that conversation. My only thoughts, I guess, about just having something without any ranking is, I think what you're suggesting, like what we just did right now, that would be a way to implement what you're suggesting, because I just having like we show up because we're also getting the respect that EOS. So I think just implementing the afterwards discussion to kind of what you're I guess proposing as far as like kind of getting a voice of discussion around certain topics would probably, I don't know, does that, I guess, kind of satisfy what you were?
Yeah, no, it totally does. It totally does. Like just having the 6 is because the Fractally white paper, it mentions just doing the same process, but siphoning off the top of the most important contributions, recurring. They're going to be the leaders of the community essentially, and the number 6s are going to be we don't have to restructure it. We don't have to repurpose the discussion, but maybe, like you're saying, a recap session afterwards can just recap everything. And I don't think anything needs to change, but maybe just say, after, today we're going to have a discussion afterwards. Ideally, like if we had 36 people showing up to one of these things, we should have a second round of 6 people having a discussion afterwards, I think. But and then we can all sit and watch it or something, right? But yeah, we don't have to change the process. We don't have to change the purpose. We can reward contributions and all that. I'm just saying that when we have these events in time coming up that we're sort of pushing towards as a community, maybe we could have a discussion, maybe sort of focused on that or directed towards that, or maybe have the recap discussion focused on that.
Yeah, one of the things in Fractally that was like how the proposal was that we voted on was to we voted to I guess make that I guess the rule is, but we're all brand new here too, but it's like basically if you're ranked 5 or 6 for so long, then you can make a proposal that makes everyone, like, then we have to vote on it. So everyone who's ranked 6, they have to reach consensus on all those like yes or no on the proposals. If they're like basically the rule of our Eden fractal, and if they don't, then they don't get any of their respect or basically tokens. So it incentivizes that they have to reach consensus on those topics. But by basically putting like you have to have some skin in the game and be ranked higher in respect in order to bring a proposal to force a vote on it. But yeah, this is something that is new on Fractally, but and that's what I find interesting too with this Eden fractal is we're going to be taking things that also are being implemented over there, and we can try them on here, and we can throw our own little spin on it too, and then we give them feedback, and we're both going to be innovating together, and it'll be interesting to see our influence on the other Fractally group as well. But yeah, that's something that we can explore. Because yeah, I think that was kind of what I was suggesting too last week, is having more focused discussions too, rather than just we come, we rank, and then we're done. It's like, okay, well, what did we vote on, and what's most important, and then getting a direction. And what's cool with this Eden election that's coming up is, I mean, we all attend the Eden election. We have a voice, and we can all kind of rally behind a collective mission or whatever we're wanting to obtain, like going into the election. So because I see things starting to heat up as we approach, if people are really wanting to start to run again too, like more debates of like what are we wanting to vote on. So then these are discussions that we as a community are having here versus just on Telegram, like we're able to do it here in person.
Yeah. It's so much more civilized in this context, isn't it? Like you just get so much more done in these meetings.
Yep. And it's also way more fun and way more personal too. There's also something that I wanted to respond to what Chuck was saying there too, but I don't want to jump in too much. And I heard that Jorge was saying something too. Were you saying something, Jorge?
Yeah, I wanted to point out that in my room there were 5 people. 4 of them did really great contributions, and it was really hard for me and for most of us to rank them, especially given the complexity of each contribution. One of them was a smart contract. There were other 3 Hive posts, pretty much thoughtful posts. So I think we are. And I felt like I was being unfair by ranking any of the contributors above any other. I felt like I was just adding noise, like whatever I said, I was being unfair. And that leads me to a point I've been highlighting for quite some time already, which is about the discoverability of value. I think doing that ranking during these breakout sessions, during 10 minutes, and being exposed to the influence of individual's charisma or extrovertness is not the right way. I think it will be much better, and I created a post on Hive about this. I am just posting it on the chat. I think it will be much better if the respect could be allocated on real time, right at the moment each member interacts with that contribution. Pretty much like a YouTube model. For example, most of our posting is right now being done on Hive. We could have our own Hive for Fractally or for Eden Fractal. And on that private Hive, we could allow each member to post their contributions. And whenever each other member interacts with that post, pretty much as in YouTube, whenever a person watches a video, that person is immediately able to either like or dislike or rank. And the advantage of doing that is that we eliminate a lot of subjectivity from the measuring process. And pretty much as in YouTube, we open the doors for a possibility of each contributor receiving respect for his contribution, not once, but for every interaction that contributions has with every member. So it becomes a form of passive income form of respect, which I think is one of the big causes that makes YouTube being as big as YouTube is. I mean, there is people that created one video 10 years ago and they are still getting passive income from that video. So it stimulates quality, it reduces noise, and I know it's like a long-term vision, but I think that should be part of our goal. I mean, respect doesn't have to be something that we need to be here to be earning. If somebody creates a really, really high quality contribution, which affects us for the next 10 years, then that person should be getting respect for the next 10 years, even if he is unable to come to these meetings. So I welcome guys you to read my post, which I just posted on the chat. And yeah, I wanted to bring that to the table, especially in regard to Felix asking for us to provide some proposals. So that will be my long-term proposal for the network.
Jay, can you please mute? Thanks. And there's like tangent. I don't know what's going on. Okay, cool. Thanks, Jorge, for sharing that. And yeah, I read that post this morning, and I'll read it again tomorrow or sometime soon. And there's a lot of great points there. I appreciate you very much sharing that. And I do think that like the idea of having a social media platform is like super helpful for enabling that kind of real time contribution measurement. And I see Charles also has his hands up or hands raised too. So Charles, would you like to go next?
Yeah, so I've read your post, Jorge, and it's of course a great idea to have ways of giving respect to someone's contributions in real time. Whenever one member of a fractal shares a document or an idea or anything physically there to be contributed and respected. And it goes to me, it sends me back to the Fractally white paper, because it has a whole part of it which discusses how social media could be integrated into a fractal. It's already there in the white paper, and it's one way that any member of a fractal, as imagined by Larimer in Fractally, any way that he could have to be post his contributions and have these contributions be respected in real time, and of course being given respect in form of tokens and money in real time for his contributions. So it's page 29 of the Fractally white paper, and it already explains to me pretty well how someone can, within a fractal, post any form of document that can be respected in real time. and it utilizes, of course, the respect of each member to give weight to the votes. So during the meetings, I think it's a great way of going about it. If someone is ranked 6 at most meetings, his vote, when he's going to vote on the contents being published within the Fractal, his vote is going to have a much more weight than any other votes during which are ranked 2 or 1 during the meetings. I think it's a great way to empower those who make consensus within a Fractal to have more weight on the likes they give out to the post being posted on the internal social media of that Fractal. It's a great way of going about it, in my opinion, but it's already explained quite in length in the Fractally white paper. My suggestion will be for you to maybe make a comparison between the original idea of Larimer of going about it and implement on it. So if you can go about, taking what's already there in the white paper, how he describes it, because in my opinion, it's a great way to giving respect in real time to any contributions. It works ad infinitum, so a contribution posted in the internal social media of the Fractal can be respected years later. So if it's a great post or a great video or something, you can still give your vote to it, give a like to it, and that like represents respect, represents money given to the person originally posting that in that time. So for me, it's a great way of going about it for respecting contributions in real time. Of course, it also allows members to comment on it. So respected members can come in and comment on the posted content, which may be an academic research paper, which can be anything posted within that Fractal. Discussion can be happening then there, and anyone can refer to it then during the meetings to use that as a contribution, to show their contributions and show that other people came in, also commented on it, respected members of the community, and that they also gave their approval on the posted content. So yeah, my only advice would be for you to take out what was said in that white paper and iterate on it. If you have any suggestion on how to improve it, maybe you already have. That was all. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah. I agree with what Charles is saying. I think that a lot of that is described in the white paper, and I agree it's very important. And I'm interested in hear what Felix has to say as well too.
Yeah, thank you, Charles. Yeah, I think that's something too that we don't really know until the software gets launched too, of like what like where this is a manual process, but once that gets automated, a lot more complexities can happen. But one thing though I have thought about, and maybe Jorge, you and I can come and maybe talk about this in the Fractally meeting on Saturday, is I agree, like maybe having a small time that we're discussing to kind of rank everyone is maybe not as ideal as if maybe we had a whole week. So we're still like, why not have a process where we randomize the group, but a week ahead, and then that our reoccurring meeting though is just, that's where everyone has to come in then, and then basically at the beginning of the meeting you're saying, okay, this is how I'm going to be casting my vote based off this, and then last minute discussions can be maybe to change the vote or not. But then if you were basically, if we had our breakout room, you're able to see ahead of time, a week ahead, you're able to now kind of in a way audit or see everyone's contributions during that week, and then that's a better way of kind of I guess in what you were suggesting of like real time allocating the respect, that weekly respect amongst your group, and you're given a week to do so based off the week that we really are kind of trying to contribute like their values. Now if somebody created something that's really great, and it basically is better than all the weekly contributions that week, then I would think that would still be withheld in the way you choose to allocate your respect tokens when you come and meet during the meeting to basically cast your votes. So I guess that's kind of something that I have thought about too. And so when I saw your post this morning, I didn't have time to read through all of it, but kind of got the broad sense of what you were saying. And so that is interesting. And it is something that I've thought about suggesting to Dan, but also, you know, kind of what Charles brought up too, is I don't know what else they have in mind, but it could be something worth maybe exploring and seeing, you know, the thoughts on the Fractally team. And, you know, if it's something that we like here too, it's something that maybe we could try and implement one week, or basically, yeah, next week we would have, like, I would know who my breakout room is. And so now I have all week to basically see what your contributions are. And then when we meet next week, I'll say how I choose to rank. Everyone votes and we lock that in. And then also throughout the week, there's nothing stopping us from creating a little group chat of that breakout room and actively ranking each other, so that when we come to cast the votes, then it is more of just discussion of like, okay, well, what's next steps, or maybe, you know, to Chuck's point, like, let's have discussions around topics though that are like high topics of discussion within the community, that now we've got the voting aside. Now let's talk about, you know, the community aspects of like where we want to go, or what topics of discussion and conversation was interesting, and like, what's our take on this? This is how we feel. And then making sure that that number 6 kind of represents their voice going into the next, you know, the post meeting, or maybe if there's an after round, then maybe we go back to the default method of just randomizing that way. But yeah, that's just kind of an idea that comes to mind.
Cool. Thanks, Felix. Yeah, I was going to add that there's a lot of interesting thoughts here, and like, on one hand, it'd just be helpful to discuss this more. These hour meetings afterwards are super helpful and super exciting and fascinating discussions, but there's so much to discuss, and it'd be helpful to discuss more another time. Maybe a few things I wanted to touch on briefly is, I do think that there's a lot of elegance and simplicity in the meeting and just ranking contributions, that I think that we should be careful, like, not to lose that elegance by complicating it too much and trying to make it more perfect. It's not a perfect system, but maybe for the constraints of complexity, it is a perfect system. Like, for example, Felix mentioned the thing about having a week to decide between your members, which can be helpful, and I think that's very interesting to explore. But then, like, there's also, I think Dan Lermer has brought up concerns about how that could wind up creating like kind of like a market or campaigning or something like that in the future. Whereas when you have the randomized groups at the moment, then there's no chance for that kind of corruption to take place. And then also, like to Jorge's point, I think that being more precise with the measurements with social media is super helpful and something that we should absolutely do. But I think that there's also just a huge amount of value in just meeting as a community and just having us to talk and just have like those uncomfortable conversations and just try to grow together as a community and try to learn. And like, there's benefit in that as a method for allocating respect and EOS and whatnot. And then there's also benefit in that just in bringing the community together and talking. And thanks to Das, and see you later. Thanks so much for joining. And also welcome, Doug. It's good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, so I think that these are great to explore, and I'm looking forward to explore them more. And also what Chuck was saying too, I'd love to come back to that at some point too. I think that gearing this process for like deliberation ideas is very exciting as well. I'm happy to speak more too, but I also would love to hear from others as well, if anybody else would like to share more thoughts, or maybe if Lenny would like to share some thoughts about being here the first time. I see some stuff going on in the chat, and yeah, I'll also be here for like, just by the way, like 25 more minutes. By the way, I have a meeting in 24 minutes, but I'd be happy to discuss more about whatever people want to talk about. There's so many exciting topics, I don't know what to go into next.
Okay, Lenny's got his hand up.
Well, someone did urge me on a bit, so I gotta say something.
Yeah.
Go, but
I was gonna pick up on what you were talking about there, Lenny.
I'm adding on a little bit there, and Felix responded, and yeah, sure, you would flush out some if it came to the surface what went on. I mean, right now we know each other since quite some time back, both in meetings like this and whatever. So we have a very good feeling. But once you get the numbers, if we were to get numbers, Then you have all the unknowns. And if I do smart and it's a big malicious move with plenty dough involved or whatever, hey, it might not surface. It might go on for a while. So it raises issues, and it, of course, goes diametrically opposed to how Dan envisaged it to avoid having such corruption and similar. So it's something to be careful with and consider. But I see the benefits, no doubt.
What you were saying there, Lenny, it would flush stuff out, and from the beginning, Dan's vision of this was a persistent reputation-based system. You're not going to get randomly thrown into rooms where nobody knows anybody. You're part of a community, you're part of a town, you're part of an organization, or whatever, a fire department, or whatever it is that is running this process. Most people are going to know each other at some level or another, and I hear, Jorge, what you're talking about, like extroverted, charismatic people have an edge naturally in this system. Just convincing other people that their contributions had any value at all, right? Like you could sit here for 5 minutes and somebody with the most important contribution, if they can't express it well, they might rank low. And you need time to give people. It's a reputation-based system, right? So the most shy person who doesn't want to talk or anything, their work would show up over time. And the more they showed up and the more they contributed, people would give them the time of day. They would respect them as a person, and they would start to respect their show respect for their work. And the other extroverts would compensate. They would share their extroversion with that introvert, right? And we would all become closer as a group. But that takes time. And as Lenny's saying, flushing out whatever you want to call bad actors, or instead of thinking about good or bad, but it's just people who have harnessed the system effectively, right? Sorry. There are organizations who see a system like this, and then you could build your organizational structure to harness the Eden system, and to eventually over time try to capture it. But these things, the more we do things like this, the more it flushes out those actors who are trying to harness the system for their own purposes, right? So all we have to do is do this more often, talk more often, appear face to face more often, and we're going to come to an understanding of where everybody is. And this is what we've been talking about for a long time. We just needed this to happen more. And as soon as Fractally started running the process weekly, it became apparent to all of us that the system fundamentally works better when you meet more often. And it just, you become aware of everybody else. I'm done.
Okay. Well, guys, I want to be proactive, be positive, and hope the best for all of us and for this community. But please, guys, we need to optimize the process of value discovery. Having these meetings more frequently and seeing each other's faces more frequently just adds noise to the system, just gives more edge to the more extroverted. We need to allow that introverted guy who makes huge contributions because he's the hell of a developer or the hell of a theorist. We need that guy to come and stay here. So we need the respect allocation to be to take place directly on real time when each member is interacting with that contribution. Not through conversation, not through looking at your eyes and being fun and being charismatic. No, that's noise. We need to remove that. And the fact that this is a statistical process, and over time contributions will achieve accurate valuation. That's a trait of the system, yes, but it's not an advantage. The Because consider, for example, two fractals, one being this fractal, hidden fractal, and one being the one of Fractally, the one that has meetings on Saturdays. And suppose that this fractal optimizes its discovery value process, but Fractally doesn't. So most of the people will come to this fractal, and the value is going to be where most of the people is. Also, for example, there is only 15 people in this room, at the most, 15 people. Mr. Singjoy had some contributions. Maybe he did some interviews. Maybe he did some videos. I didn't watch all those videos, and we only are 14 people. What if the whole fractal community were 1,000 people? What is the probability that me as a person has any familiarity with the contribution of one of the 5 people I am randomly assigned within the group of those 1,000 people? It's almost zero. So we need to reduce the noise, and the best way I see to do that is to, from this moment, from the very beginning, to plan ourselves to make the respect allocation to take place in real time, right at the moment, just as in YouTube. Right when you are watching that video, you say this video is great, you subscribe to that channel, and you respect it by liking it, just like that. And do that, I mean, aim to do that at every level, at social networking level, as having our Hive platform, but also at coding level, and at interviewing level and planning level, at every level, like to try to fractalize our thinking to bring this governance process at every level. I know well, I know this is a, how to say, a ambitious and hard task to accomplish, and it's long term. It's not something we can do within the next month or maybe even a year, but I think that's the right way. And the evidence, like the physical evidence in the market, outside in the world, in fact, is that YouTube is YouTube because it allows people to gain passive income from their contributions.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you, Jorge. Yeah, I mean, so I guess kind of what were your thoughts about the weekly, the weekly chance to distribute the respect? Yeah, kind of, I guess what I was suggesting, I don't know, I am curious to bring it up, I guess, a little bit on the Fractally meeting, if the opportunity presents itself, because, yeah, I think, you know, I mean, Lenny made points too, like, I do understand, because those are things that I've thought about as well, like that, you know, there could be, like, you know, campaigning throughout the week to try to get you to vote a certain way, but I'm also thinking of it as, well, when you come to cast your votes, now you're having to give you a reason, though, too, of why you're voting, and now your respect, your reputation is also at stake by casting your vote. If something seems off, like, and this is also probably more relevant to a smaller community. You know, now when we get to the thousands, yeah, I don't know how that's going to work. I only am thinking in the terms of like how we've been doing with these smaller communities of gauging respect and contributions towards, you know, our smaller community. If we have our breakout rooms and then we have the whole week, like I said, to audit and kind of learn more about the people that's in your breakout rooms, then you're able to have a better, your own personal opinion. Now, if other people start reaching out to you and start campaigning, yes, I can see that, you know, possibly being an issue, but also at the same time, like you said, I think any off votes may be recognized by the community when you come to cast the vote. And you still have to reach consensus though within the group too. So whoever would be campaigning, they have to campaign everybody who's randomly in their group each week, and they have to do that every single week. So basically they have to campaign what's stopping them from doing that right now, campaigning the entire community to vote for me, the top every single every single time. So I don't know. I kind of feel like there may be something there with maybe doing the weekly, like you basically have your breakout room. You know who your breakout room is going to be a week ahead before you have the actual meeting to then cast your vote. Yeah, I mean, thoughts on that, Jorge, as far as like that kind of synergizing a little bit with what you're kind of thinking? Because the only thing when you say like to like basically allocate respect real time, like, well, you have, where is that coming from? And we have to have a certain amount, and then also this is getting rid of the consensus part, which I think is important, of like you can't just give out, like, this is community tokens that we're minting, so you have to reach consensus within the a part of the community to allocate that token to somebody else. And so this is the way I guess kind of, yeah, that would probably be a little bit more real time to do it through the week. And that kind of eliminates the, you know, the advantages that extroverts and charismatic people are going to have, like, during an hour to convince people, because in an hour it's easy to convince somebody if you're charismatic because you can play on their emotions. But now if you're doing a whole week, they're going to have to really work the entire week to play on your emotions. And people can choose to, like, oh, I don't want to engage with you right now. Like, I'll look into your stuff when I have time, and then I'll gauge it accordingly. But I know this is kind of going a little off, and we're running lower. I got 10 minutes. I got to hop off too. So sorry about that. But yeah, I just thoughts on that.
Yes. I was reading the proposal by Jorge. Very interesting. Muchas gracias. Entonces, so I just want to say this proposal to do things in real time, on one side, that's give a lot of engagement of the people at the source when is coming the news, when is coming the proposal. At the same time, you don't have the time to think about what you read. Maybe you have to take some rest and read again, dive into the rabbit hole, and meet again. So I understand the proposal, but at the same time, we cannot maybe have the time to make the talk when we are reading at the moment that we see the things. So I was thinking about something after the last meeting, until now, indeed. I was doing nothing as a proposal, but I was thinking, indeed, we need first to testify what we want to do. Then, and when I say testify, I mean on-chain. We should testify on-chain, each of us, when we are doing something into the blockchain ecosystem, now here into Eden Fractal, to post a proposal on-chain. That's the testifying. Then there is the second step. This is the action. And these action steps are also to be on-chain. And finally, there is the delivery. Only then you can say, okay, I trust these people, I trust this man, or I trust this woman, because of this testifying intent, testifying action and delivery, and doing the things repeatedly, week after week. You can, let's say, have a stance on the people. And I would say not to be biased, influenced by the charismatic way, or maybe on subjective way. You have some objective metrics because it is on the blockchain. And also, we should maximizing the MSIG when we are doing something, when we are taking stance at a point we have to say, okay, now it's the time to froze on the blockchain for a while, because we have decided that, we have reached consensus. So now make your voice on chain. Otherwise, we will maybe forget that in a couple of weeks after what we have said. And the mind map that I have made for Hidden Fractal, and that I have also made for Fractalist stand-up meeting, is not just a yeah baby mind map to say, oh, that looks nice, we will go there and we have some links. The goal of this mind map is to publish your contributions. And for the Hidden Fractal, there is this Hidden Fractal mind map. And he's pointing to the Discord channel where that Felix has created a channel for the proposal. So it's pointing there. Now it's not on-chain, this mind map. But this mind map could be on-chain soon on IPFS and timestamped on EOS mainnet. So the goal is to minimize what I call, that's not me, that's from 1950, the 50s, Japanese, Yasu, I don't remember his name, but it's a Rashomon effect. Because you can think that now you know something, and by looking the past, you are seeing, oh, my memory has some problem because I was thinking that into the past, and now I am thinking something else. So the mind map is also to minimize the Rashomon effect. That's called a Rashomon effect. So that's for that. So myself, very happy of this Hidden Fractal because it's about collaboration. We don't have that. I repeat, currently into our EOS ecosystem, we have not too much collaborations between a group of people, and here it's the seed is coming that will grow, and we have to join if we can every week. Maybe I will miss 3 weeks in a row because I have other things to do, but during this time maybe you do your stuff, you publish somewhere, and you inform the people to read your post. So you don't have to show. You can do the things for a while quietly in your submarine mode, in your mountain, and suddenly you come later on, and you come to share with the community what you have made. So for me, that is respect also, because you take some rest, then you come back and you have something beautiful. Like Lenny is doing a hidden recap, hidden fractal, all that. It's a lot of work. That's a lot of respect for that. So the respect, everyone, we have our respect. Maybe Jorge, you have make some values on the respect. Charles, you have other level of respect. Everyone, we have our level of respect. We consider the things as respectful. One thing that we have in common, we want to have a really humane collaboration. We want to incentivize that. So enjoy, guys. I am very happy to be here, and we have to continue. We have to continue until we die. What other choice? What other choice? How the world is going now? We have to believe in what we do. And Hidden Fractal, for me, it's this catalyst for innovation, for information, for more data, capture the data. And if we do that on chain since the beginning, maybe not since the beginning, but not too much longer way, that's the right way to go. So go Hidden Fractal. I think we are in a good momentum.
Go Hidden Fractal. You mind if I just say something first, Jorge?
Yeah, before we go,
okay.
I wanted to say that, well, this is a complex problem. I don't have the solution, but I'm bringing it to the table so that we all can think about it. One possible way I was seeing we could attack it is pretty much in the Felix approach. We have an annual inflation, which is 6%. That will mean that we have a weekly inflation, which is whatever percent. So we can have a pretty much like a YouTube model, Patrick. In a YouTube model, when you watch a video, you don't have to like it right then. You can watch it several times, and then after you incorporate that into your mind, then you decide to either like it or not. We can have some model like that. Mm-hmm. So you have the time frame, whatever it is for you to decide whether, well, how much respect are you going to allocate to that. And those different qualifications, those different rankings from every interaction for that contribution are like punched weekly, and after that week, the amount of weekly inflation is allocated proportional to those gradings, to those rankings. That's a possible way I could envision it being implemented in the long term.
Yeah, and very important, when you see the YouTube video live, okay, then you analyze again, you ingest this information, you turn you extract the data, and you make your knowledge. Then you can put that into the hidden fractal mind map as a good proposal, suggestion, and we have a place to have all collected. So that's very good also.
Yeah, also keep in mind that I am not saying that these meetings are going to stop. No, on the contrary, these meetings will continue. It will be focused on different matters than trying to go through the noise on who did what and what's the value of everything.
Personally, until I die.
I just want to jump in here real quick and just say a couple things real quick. So one, thank you very much, Jorge and Patrick and everybody for the great discussions, and also just for being here overall. I can repeat that a million times, but it's super helpful and super exciting. I have to go in like a minute or two, but I would encourage anybody to stick around. I can make whoever host, if anyone would like to be the new host on the Zoom functionality. And then I'd also like to say too, like, we didn't really get the chance to speak about a lot of these things in as much detail as they deserve. Like Jorge's proposal and what Jorge's speaking about, I think it'd be really helpful to have like more detailed discussions about that for longer than just like a half hour at the end of these calls. So if you would like to, Jorge, at some point have a more detailed conversation about that, then I would love to do that. And then also what Chuck is saying previously about having it like for different purposes or so forth. I'm probably not explaining it very well, but having it like to help decide the course of our next actions and so forth. I would love to speak about that as well. So if anybody's interested in meeting another time during the week, then please feel free to reach out. I'd love to meet. Also, we'll be doing this again next week, same time, 13 UTC Wednesday, and I'd love to see everybody there again next week. And then also, Felix and I are co-hosting the Eden Open Mic Nights, which might be a good opportunity to discuss some of this as well on Sundays at 16 UTC. But yeah, thanks everybody, and please feel free to continue. And then I'd love to talk about these subjects more soon.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you very much, Dan, Felix, Chuck, the only CD chief delegate here. That's my AI voice speaking. So, yeah. No, I am. Thank you very much, Chuck. I know it's not a good momentum for now, but I think that will go better with Hidden Onios.
Does anybody want to be the host right now?
You can give me if you want.
Okay, sure.
If you want.
Okay, yeah, sure, of course.
You have the choice, huh?
Of course, and then please, Patrick, if you'll keep having interesting conversations, then please do record it so I can listen and others can listen.
Or someone else. Or someone else you can record. Bishop, you can record. You are the video guy here. You can record. Okay,
you're now the host. If anybody can record, that'd be much appreciated.
I do enough video to promote it on Fractal.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, thanks everybody. See you.
See ya.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you.